Hello. Hello. Hola. Konnichiwa. Good morning, afternoon, and or even evening, folks. I hope you're all having a good one. Guten Tag. I hope you're all doing well. It's Sunday, 11:02 a.m. in the East Coast of the United States. It's a nice breezy day. A little bit cloudy. And we're gonna fuck. Hope you're all ready for it. How's it going, everyone? Hopefully you all are doing well. Video games? Pretty cool. Let's get it on now. Let's get it on now. Choose and make your best pick. Yo, what's up, How you doing, everyone? Good to see you all. What's up, Amber20, Dr. Dubs, Nope, Bad Guy, amazing name, excellent name, Empress of Myth. No, it's not. It's 8:02 a.m. on the west coast of the U.S. Hopefully you're all having a good one. As you may have seen, either via my own tweet or through the internet sphere, there's another video by the ever-beloved Summoning Salt, the master of researching speedruns and telling stories about it. The video game historian that we deserve, and not the YouTuber named Video Game Historian, who couldn't be asked. Actually, am I thinking of the right person? No, I don't think I am. There's a self-proclaimed video game historian who talks about the arts and stories in video games and couldn't be asked to finish near.
What's the purpose?
Exactly, what's the purpose of that? So I immediately unfollowed their channel. It's like, I can't spend the time to play through this game multiple times. It's a waste, so I watched the rest of it on YouTube, and it's like, you have completely missed the point then. you missed the new storytelling that comes from the multiple playthroughs. you read what you have to do, and then you immediately turned your brain off from, appreciation for the history that was presented in front of you. But hey, that's not my problem. I play through the game. I'm agnostically drawing a bookcase filled by hand. Your client also messaged me the other day asking some questions as well. So I have an insight of what this is possibly for. So I'm actually even more excited to see it in full use. I'm super excited for it. Yo, what's up, Jim Poo? How you doing? Good morning to you. How was breakfast? How you doing as well, Bridget? That's right. I'm still like, what's the point? What's the point of calling yourself a gaming historian of any sort, and you can't you can't explore the good story in a video game? Mind you, this son of a gun has the gall to use the image of themselves in like one of those big comfy armchairs that make them seem like really classy. And it's like, fuck off. Fuck all the way off. You pretentious prick. If I said that word. Yeah, I could. But we're still agnostic. The bookcase does not believe in God. Teddy Raz. Teddy R ass. That's what they call him. Also, appreciate the follow. All the alerts are off, so, we could just watch video and be uninterrupted here. But I do see it to my side here, so, greatly appreciated. Please enjoy these wolves in the background. Hopefully you're having a good one. Fall Zero is anonymous, so if you just want to follow, lurk away, enjoy the video tude as we get into some good Halo history, feel free. But otherwise, hey, happy to have you here. Breakfast was fine? Hell yeah. Fizz is fine. You're right. Am I doing it wrong by not having any interest in playing Nier? No. Those are two completely different things. You are into the whole mecha aspect, and I'm not. But I love Nier to fucking death, and you have no interest in it. Yin and yang. This is going to the depth in the story stuff. It's great if they go into the depth in the story stuff and not, oh my god, I gotta produce another YouTube video in another week so I can make daddy algorithm happy. It's two completely different things. Yeah, exactly, Blue Jello. Nier isn't mecha, like, at all. I can't tell you what doesn't make it mecha, though, because I don't watch mecha. So I can't sit there and be like, this is why it's not mecha. All I can do is shrug and say, it sure isn't similar to any mecha I've seen in my time. I can't tell you what makes mecha mecha. I can only tell you what makes Nier. Resonant Arc, do good work. Hey, can you do me a favor, Zappa? Can you hit exclamation point cool and add it to the list of things I should check out? Also, what's up, Blue Jello? What's up, Boya? Hopefully you're doing good. And lost by not being numbered by the busy working near yourself. Or numbed, I should say. Oh, gosh. Oh, yeah, that's still on. Yeah, hey, don't spoil my Curse 50. That's not today. Whoops. Forgot to turn that off. Oh, well, not a big deal. We're vibing. We're chilling. I'll do it on the side when no one's looking at the bees flying through space, overlaid Halo in the background. I'm just chilling, chatting for a bit before we get started. Let people roll in from all corners of the internet. Let people get cozy, get a blanket if you haven't gotten one yet. I got my blanket. I got a pillow for my butt. I got a blanket for my legs. I got a coffee for my mouth. We're doing good out here. You have to go to the page. I wish I was that smart to auto add it to a list in Excel, but I cannot do that yet. I don't know how to do that yet. It's a good morning. It's been chill. Cleaned the bathroom today. I had a good breakfast. Got some leftovers yesterday. Went to a nearby-ish adjacent Thai restaurant. It was really fucking good. Tipped as I usually do, because I did an online order. Went inside. The waiter told me kind of under his breath that, hey, next time you order online, make sure that you don't tip online and you give us cash, because otherwise it goes all to the owner. And I'm sitting there like, that's mega fucking illegal. I clearly don't want to cause a fuss here and now because I don't want you to lose your job, but what the fuck? And my partner told her about it, and she has worked in the food industry for a long time, and it's just like, she was mad about it far longer than I was. And I'm like, maybe I should do some research into like how to call a whistle on that. I don't know. So I don't know. I'm gonna probably research that and figure out what I can do. But I also just like don't want people to lose their jobs at the same time because some outsider came in and heard one thing and it was completely wrong. Who knows? There you go, lad. Thank you so much, Zap. I appreciate it. Time to go wage more war. I'll be listening on the side. Yeah, it's gonna be good. It's going to be good. It's going to be some good listening. It helps to watch certain things here and there. As long as you can, like, stop and look when they show an example, you should be good to go.
Pizza Hotline.
All right, we're at the end of this video. We'll just go ahead and get started. Because it's a perfect way to end this video. It's nice. Just chill. There it goes. There goes the sea. You see the sea? No, you don't. It's gone. There is no sea. The sea's dead. That's why they call it the Dead Sea. In Chrono Cross and basically nowhere else. All right. Well, hopefully you all are having a good one. It's great to be able to chill out for a day. to enjoy some videos that I like watching and that hopefully other people enjoy watching. I assume Summoning Salt is pretty beloved, but you know, I think I've said all there is to be said in this case. The story of both Nair and both Nair games is good to go. Is nothing wrong with just listening. Yeah. But the unique part is how it interacts with it being a video game, and it tells a story and an experience that cannot just be told to you. If it's told to you, you kind of nod and say, "Oh, that's cool," but you lose the surprise and suspense and the sitting there wondering why the game is making you play it again until you get to the point where like, "Oh, this is why it's making me play it again." Oh, and then you get super invested from there. All right. Well, let's get started. Actually, let me make sure that my other sound effect thingy is actually linked to the right video real quick here. Yeah, Firefox. Perfect. That should play there. You should hear the first beautiful notes of Summoning Salt. I'll turn up a little bit. I mean, that is his background music, so he should be evened out as well. And I'm going to do something on the side here while you all aren't looking.
If you've ever tried playing Halo 2 on Legendary difficulty, you know that it's one of gaming's most brutal challenges. It goes way beyond the hardest setting of most games. Enemies are stronger, they're more plentiful, and they kill you almost instantly. Beating Halo 2 on Legendary is a serious achievement. But one group of gamers takes it a step further. They strive to beat Halo 2 Legendary as fast as physically possible. And through thousands of collective hours from the game's best players, they've taken the record to unimaginable levels. This is the history.
I don't mind being a little bit quiet,
of Halo 2
but I shouldn't be
world
competing
records.
it at the same time. But I do want, you know, obviously the video to be more of the focus. So I'll be a little bit quieter. So when I do interject, it's not just like, "Oh wow, I couldn't hear Summoning Salt. How dare you?" There we go. That should be about right there. All right, let's try that. And if it doesn't get any better, then, you know, let me know.
And now a word from this video sponsor.
Oh yeah, because he's sponsored now.
Xbox Game Pass.
Oh, good sponsorship,
Valheim
actually.
is now available to play on Xbox with Game Pass. And to celebrate, they're hosting a new speedrun competition. And you can participate.
Oh yeah, they are
right
chopped off
now.
because we're not
Here
watching
are
Max
the
Payne
rules.
anymore or
The
watching
goal
Street
is to
Fighter
kill
anymore.
a troll as fast as possible.
Oh, it's impossible. I can't do
Timing
it.
starts when the character takes their first step and ends on the frame the troll dies. It must be on a new game with a new Viking, using the World Seed
Hold on a
Game
second. Why is
Pass,
that here?
and it must be a solo run.
Why is that?
All exploits and glitches are banned. The fastest 3 submissions will receive special rewards blessed by Odin himself.
Hold on a sec. Why is
One
that cut
of
off?
3 custom controllers. To participate, upload a video of your run to YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok. The title must include hashtag Game Pass Valheim Speedrun, and the video must be from your Xbox. The deadline is 5:59 p.m.
There we go.
Pacific time on May 27th. See if you can enshrine yourself in speedrunning history. Best of luck.
I hope he has to make a whole video about
Game
the
Pass
Valheim
has
speed
hundreds
run.
of high-quality games.
I really
like
hope he has to
Valheim
after this
available on
as a
release.
follow-up.
Discover your next
That would
favorite
rule.
game with Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah, that's a huge fucking sponsor, but, you know, he's good at his
Halo
work.
2 has had a thriving speedrun scene ever since its release in 2004.
All right, I can also turn off.
Players
One more
competed
thing.
on both individual levels and the full game on each of the 4 difficulty modes. While all these records were lowered over time, the most prestigious one was the full game Legendary speedrun, thanks to its incredible difficulty. Halo 2 Legendary was featured at GDQ events, and videos were shared all over the internet.
Raid seems to
It was
be
a
not
very
be
popular
sponsoring
speedrun.
as much, it seems
But
like.
the actual record
Maybe that's just me.
timeline is another story. From 2004 through 2014, Halo 2's legendary world record was near continuously held by one player,
Ooh.
Mr. Monopoly. Monopoly became synonymous
Good
with Halo
name.
speedruns,
Good name for being the only one who
holding
owned it.
records and playing the game at live events.
Oh, shit.
But the timeline of the world record itself isn't all that interesting. Monopoly got the Halo 2 record in 2006 and remained dominant for the next 8 years. However, in June 2014, the Halo community got a big surprise. 343 Industries announced Halo: The Master Chief Collection, a compilation
I
of
forgot that
all
was
the
out.
mainline
I forgot that was a
Halo
thing.
games. And to celebrate Halo 2's 10th anniversary, 343 was going to remaster it as Halo 2 Anniversary, with graphical upgrades and a few other changes. And it just so happens that members of their development team were speedrun fans. Big enough fans that they flew out Goat Rope and Monopoly,
Oh shit.
top speedrunners for the first 2 Halo games, to help playtest the games a few months before their release.
That's tight.
They spent about 20 hours playtesting, then sat down with 343's franchise writer to name achievements after top Halo speedrunners.
Oh.
And fittingly, the achievement for beating Halo 2 Legendary quickly enough? Monopolized. It's clear that from the get-go, 343 Industries designed Halo: The Master Chief Collection with speedrunning in mind. While most of the games included were essentially identical to their original release, Halo 2 Anniversary was sufficiently different that it became its own speedrun category.
I was wondering why they were focused
So,
on Halo 2.
Right at the
that
game's
does explain
release
it.
in November 2014, players began running Halo 2 Anniversary. Monopoly and a runner named HockeyFan48 traded the legendary record back and forth in the first few days. But the first run we're going to look at came a few weeks later. Halo 2 Legendary, completed in 2 hours and 17 minutes by none other than Mr. Monopoly. First off, Monopoly went into this
Is
run
Halo 2
expecting
beloved?
to die. A lot. It's just not realistic to have a deathless
I feel like no one talks
playthrough
about
of
Halo 2
on Legendary, unless you're going slowly and being extremely careful. Fortunately, there are checkpoints throughout each level, so when you die, you can quickly enter the menu and revert to the last checkpoint. But Monopoly didn't have to worry about dying too much in the first level, the Armory, which is essentially a 2.5-minute cutscene that serves as a tutorial. Given the length of the run, we won't talk about every level in depth right now, but Cairo Station is the first real level, and Monopoly did his best to move quickly and ignore as many enemies as possible. When he had to fight them, he tried to clear out the elites quickly with an overcharged plasma pistol shot, then a headshot from the battle rifle. He also strafed to try and avoid being shot, but still had to take cover at times, and was careful to avoid being too aggressive.
Okay, gotcha.
Next up was Outskirts, which has a famous intended trick.
Because I've not played Halo, so
by doing a series of grenade jumps, where you throw a grenade and
I just have to
time
go
the
through
jump
like
to get
what
a boost
people
upwards,
talk
you can
about.
get on top of the buildings and make it out of bounds. This lets you skip fighting a long wave of enemies on the ground. The second half of the stage involves a lot of driving, and Monopoly switched to the Warthog since the Marines soak up a lot of the damage and let you live longer. Eventually, Monopoly arrived at the Oracle. This is one of the longest
Hopefully
levels in
people
the
have
run,
played
with
Halo
wave
in here
after
because
wave of
I know
enemies
jack
to
shit
fight
about
through.
Halo, so I'm
But
learning
he had
from
tricks to
scratch
help.
here.
On the elevator, you're
Figured.
normally supposed
You
to
and me both.
slowly ride it all the way down.
You and me
But if you
handshaking.
wait for a death box to despawn, you can fall off the edge and land on the precise spot you need to continue the level.
Oh, that's sick.
The rest of the level
Elevator
is a lot
action.
of clearing out enemies, and 5 deaths to go along with it. Delta Halo is one of the most broken levels in the game. He started by jumping on the hillside to get on top, then hitting a trigger that allowed him to progress and continue on top of the hill.
Oh.
He then got in a ghost, and was supposed to activate a bridge to get across this gap. But instead, he did this. It turns out, a grenade is strong enough to boost
I love hearing
vehicles as
about
well,
and seeing all this sort of
Monopoly
like
was able to
bullshit
save
you could do
half
with
a minute.
explosions and first-person
The next
shooters.
level is
That
called
is so
Regret,
good.
and
Rocket
it
jumping,
features one of
grenade
the
jumping,
biggest tricks in the run.
bunny hopping.
Early
Like,
gondola.
oh my god.
The intended route at the start
Movement
is to
in
work your
first-person
way
shooters is
around the
bonkers.
structures and platforms, then land on the middle platform, which acts as a trigger to send the gondola away. You can't ride it yet. After killing all the enemies, another gondola begins to come toward you, and once it arrives, you can hop on and ride it to progress through the level. It'd save a lot of time if you could just ride on that initial gondola that goes away, but as soon as you get near it, it's gone. That's where early gondola comes into play. Monopoly used a careful jumping route to go straight to the gondola, including a slide jump, where you use the extra momentum from a slide to extend your jump across a gap. He then left the gondola to hit the edge of the trigger on the middle platform, then quickly got back on the gondola just before it pulled away.
Did you play
He had
Halo
to
2 a
avoid
lot then,
dying on the
Empress?
way from
Or
the
you,
enemies
your
that
friend was just like, let's just
spawned,
fucking do it. We'll
but
figure it
once he
out.
was in the
That's a
clear,
tomorrow problem.
He had saved 2.5 minutes by not having to wait for the second gondola. Now,
that
he
is
did
sick.
die 6 times throughout the level, but using early gondola at the start was able to make up for most of that.
Jesus.
A few levels later came Gravemind.
Yeah, God,
the
you died
longest
fast.
and
What
most
the hell?
notorious level in the run. To get an idea of what I
man,
mean,
should go to E3 because of it when it was
this
still much
is
of an
how the
industry
level
thing?
begins
Yo,
on
that's sick.
Legendary.
Also, what's up, Cuttlefish, man? How you doing?
And to clarify, Monopoly knew this was coming. Even so, he struggled to take cover in time. And it's a good representation of the rest of the level. There are enemies everywhere, and Monopoly had to strike a balance between keeping moving and trying to stay alive. Gravemind ended up taking him over 26 minutes, and he died 34 times. He did have some tricks to help out, like jumping into a sloped rock so he could go out of bounds and walk above
I'm gonna
long
turn down
hallways.
just a smidge so I don't have to
This
speak
helped him
as
avoid
loud.
fighting certain
But like a
enemies.
smidge.
Monopoly also used
So hopefully
a trick
that's
called
about
corridor
good.
reload. During
I clicked it
reinforcement
again on accident,
battles,
'cause I'm dumb.
he stood in precise spots between waves to fool the game into
But-
thinking he was out of bounds.
And same thing with my parents.
So the
It
enemies
changes
didn't
things a
detect
lot
him and
when
never
someone's
spawned
offering
in.
you money to do a
But even
thing.
with tricks like this,
Because
to
the biggest thing that parents are worried
he
about
was
in our generation, or at least
overmatched.
around my
He died
generation, I should
all
say,
throughout Gravemind.
is that
But
they thought you were
eventually,
going to waste
he
your
did
life.
make
And
it
then when you show them that there's money behind it,
After a
they're suddenly like,
couple
their
shorter
tune
levels in Uprising and
changes
High
180.
Charity,
So I figured it was probably something like
Monopoly
that.
arrived at the Great Journey, Halo 2's final level. He was able to despawn the Wraiths by simply driving
And that's
away
fair,
from
that's
them
fair.
and
Yeah, that
hitting
makes
a
sense.
checkpoint,
Halo
and
seems like a
then
great
went
co-op
inside
game,
with
and I
the
kind of want
Ghost.
to play co-op with
He
somebody
died
someday.
several times while trying
Or,
to
you know,
navigate
play the game in
through,
general.
Then got in the Banshee to wait
Yeah.
and enter
Hey, you
the
mean both
final
Cuttlefish, man.
section
I've
of the
also not
level.
finished the game.
Once
I've also not
inside,
started the game.
Took out the enemies, took out the final boss.
Looks tough though. I mean, I know this is legendary, but looks like it's a lot to it.
Monopoly died 66 times throughout the game's 14 levels.
Damn, 3 away.
With more than half of
3 away
those
from the
coming
weed
in
number.
Gravemind alone.
That
That's
time,
Halo
maybe?
2 on Legendary for you. But to be fair, Monopoly was at a disadvantage. He was the Halo 2 Classic
I
record holder,
might, actually.
and this was Halo 2 Anniversary. That meant adjusting to slightly different physics, tricks, and enemy behavior. Monopoly is one of the best to ever play Halo 2, but 66 deaths obviously wasn't the end goal. However, he left the Halo 2 Anniversary record up for grabs, as after this run, he went back to playing Halo 2 Classic. In fact, that's what most of the community did. Despite Halo 2 Classic having a history dominated by Monopoly, it remained the more popular speedrun.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was
there's a
thinking,
specific
Cuttlefish,
reason
man.
why.
He did reach out about
See, when
scheduling another one.
343 remastered
that's why I was like,
Halo 2,
this could work.
They based it off
That
of
could
a patched
actually work.
version of the game. As a result, many glitches from the original game weren't present. It may have seemed like a good move at the time, but for speedrunners, these glitches were used all over the place. So, since Halo 2 Anniversary couldn't be optimized like Classic could, many runners simply ignored it. That being said, it wasn't completely
I'm just like messaging right
abandoned.
now.
A community of runners still played Halo
But
2
probably not.
Anniversary,
We probably can't make it
trying
work,
to
I don't
better
think.
optimize the run with fewer deaths and faster movements. Numerous world records were set, and the time came down
Yeah. Okay.
quickly. But sadly, from 2015
I might
through
just ask him to play
2017,
co-op or something like that and
nearly
use
no
Halo.
legendary world record videos survived.
But I will ask still.
It's hard to say why people didn't save their times, especially ones that were world records. Twitch automatically saved them as past broadcasts for a while, but those eventually were deleted, and no records were ever highlighted or uploaded to YouTube.
Oops.
Although we can't watch these runs
Not that I
today,
have mine uploaded
we
to
do
YouTube.
thankfully
or
know what the
Twitter.
timeline was.
Twitch.
Here's what survives of the early Halo 2 anniversary record history. In early 2015, speedrunner Kryphin set a series of world records, ultimately taking the time to 2:03:58. Kryphin was a former competitive Halo player, and got into Halo 2 speedruns after seeing the speedrunning achievements that 343 added. He spent a few months playing Halo 2 Anniversary, lowered the record, then moved on to playing Halo 2 Classic. A few months later, Andy's Mountain came along. He got into running the game the same way Kryphin did, seeing the speedrun achievements.
Alright, the
and
message is
trying
sent.
it
There
out
we go.
himself.
We're good.
And throughout June 2015, he
This is
took the
one
record
grab.
from 2:03 to 2 hours flat. Finally, a few months later,
Yeah, he's
Nazar 23
Incredible
took the top
at
spot.
storytelling.
He was big into speedrunning individual
So having it on
levels,
one chart and then
especially
zooming out and seeing
Regret,
all of it at the end
setting
is
numerous records
perfect.
there for Halo 2 Anniversary. He didn't have much interest in running the full game, but eventually he was persuaded to try it. And Nazar 23 wound up getting the first sub 2 hour run in the game's history, later lowering the time to 1:56. Late in 2016, a pretty
Alright,
big
I'm gonna click
change
something off
was
here.
made.
Don't mind me. I'm also
The
like
community
sending messages
voted
and stuff
to
like that. I just
subtract
realized I need to
loads
send
from
something.
the final time, since they could vary slightly from runner to runner. That took about 6 minutes off of all runs, meaning the world record was now retimed as a 150. And about a year after this change, one final record was set, a 149 from speedrunner Jervalen, who'd been running the game for a few months and saw his chance to take the top spot. So, this is Halo 2 Anniversary's early timeline. An irregular progression, with bursts of activity followed by months of silence. It's unfortunate that no videos survived, but at least the history is preserved. But finally, in April 2018, Jervalen
Okay.
came in clutch.
Esports
He set a
adjacent
new
stuff
world
done.
record
We're good. Sorry
and
about that.
saved the video.
Save the
The
video.
first time we can watch a Halo 2 anniversary record in over 3 years.
For the first
We
time in
last saw the
speedrun
record at
history, he
2:17.
saved the fucking video.
Now, it's down to 146. This is gonna look pretty different.
Fallout 4 skip called the VLC code that
Well,
allows you to skip
right
most
from
of
the
this-
get-go,
the
he
vault
was
part
more
of the
aggressive.
intro. Using a traffic cone to
All
clip through the
throughout
wall
run,
to the room
Jervalen
store's
attacked
room.
enemies
Oh, that fucking
more
rules.
directly instead of hanging back. In Cairo alone, the first real level, this saved him 45 seconds. While playing more aggressively can be faster, you do run the
What was
risk of dying.
Halo Collection released
But
on. I thought that was an
Jervalen
Xbox game
improved
as
in
well,
that department
or
too.
Xbox 360
He
maybe.
saved nearly 3 minutes over the
I don't know my
following 3
years,
levels by
honestly, because
reducing
I don't
the
know when
amount
this
of
came out.
deaths. Another major area
Or
of
what it
improvement
came out
was
for,
new
I should say.
strategies.
Because they said it came out in
Many of these have been
2014.
slowly implemented over the last 3.5 years, but this is the first time we can see them in a run. And some are pretty huge.
I've also never played Fallout though,
In
so
Oracle, Jervalen sent the elevator up, then got underneath it and sent it back down. The result was him being launched
What?
into the air, shooting through the elevator shaft to the top rather than having to ride it. This saves 10 seconds on its own, but also has an important side effect. The game makes you invincible in the elevator shaft, and since the
Oh.
elevator never reaches the top, the trigger to take your invincibility away is never hit. So, you're invincible for the remainder of the level. This trick is called
Wow.
the pressure launch, and was found by none other than Mr. Monopoly. Delta Halo was also drastically changed. The
On our
level has
PCs
5
mostly?
triggers
Really?
that must be hit.
Oh
and
my
Jervalen
God,
was able
that's
to
how
hit
stupid
them,
I am on
then
Halo.
work his way out of bounds to take shortcuts.
I've always seen it as an Xbox
As long
thing.
as he activated all the triggers, he was able to scale mountains and cut corners all day. He did this more than Monopoly did, and was able to skip fighting many enemies. But the biggest strategy overhaul came in Halo 2's final level, the Great Journey. You need to get the Spectre inside the final room. Normally, that's not possible, since the Spectre travels on the ground and the door to enter is high in the sky. but by parking it in a safe space earlier in the level,
Also, what's
then
up, boy?
hopping back
How you
in
doing?
later and riding along the right side ridge, you can stop on top and wait for the scarab to break open the door. The ending trigger extends out of the building, so you can precisely let the Spectre drop down and fall into the cutscene. If done properly, the Spectre will survive and make it inside. And once there, you can perform one of Halo 2's finest tricks.
I brought the car with
Johnson
me.
cloning.
Johnson cloning?
Johnson,
The
one
double
of the
dick.
AI Marines, is able to repeatedly lower the final boss's shield so you can inflict damage. Johnson only shoots the boss so often, limiting your abilities to damage him. So, let's find a way to create more Johnsons. By forcing Johnson to get in the Spectre, the game detects he's not in the level and spawns another one. By
Wow!
forcing that Johnson to get in, the process repeats.
Wow!
And you can create infinite Johnsons, although each additional one costs more time. Eventually, the game spawns one final Johnson, and you take the other 3 Johnsons to the middle platform in the Spectre.
The Johnson
All
army.
4 Johnsons attack the boss,
Johnsons everywhere.
his shields are lowered more often, and the fight is complete in a fraction of the time. Thanks to Johnson
All those
cloning
yo
and other
Johnsons.
tricks across the run, Jervalen had a massive
Johnson
leg
makes fun
up
of you
on
for being from
Monopoly.
Denver, but Johnson's actually from
But the
space.
biggest difference
and there's
wasn't
like
new
40 of them.
strategies.
He's the one that got lost.
It was the amount of deaths. Monopoly died 66 times in his run. How many deaths did Jervalen have?
5.
9.
Damn it.
Jervalen's 146 didn't last on top too long. Even though
That fucking
much of the
rules,
community
Empress.
was
Holy
focused
shit.
on Halo 2 Classic, there was still one top runner who kept his attention on the remake. His name was By Nails, and almost immediately he began setting records in Halo 2 Anniversary. That May, he beat Jervalen's run by about 3 minutes. There wasn't much in the way of new strategies, but there's a couple levels in particular where he saved big time. Quarantine Zone, the level directly before Gravemind, can be a major run killer. The final
Oh,
5
I'm
minutes are
excited.
essentially an auto-scroller, but the first section involves doing some extremely careful driving. You have to go from room to room, dodging enemies as much as possible and hoping you don't get sniped. Deaths can be very costly depending on your last checkpoint, and although Jervalen died once, Nails was able to drive faster and avoid dying.
It looks
he
so
saved a
goofy.
full minute.
How the fuck?
Now, on average, Nails did die more across the run. 11 deaths versus Jervalen's 9. But his deaths were less costly, and he played faster elsewhere. In Oracle, he had small time saves while in combat that added up to roughly half a minute. And in Gravemind, despite dying 5 times, he actually gained time over Jervalen. It's an important lesson in Halo 2 speedrunning. Deaths can be costly, yes, but if you're aggressive enough with your play, the time saved from being faster can outweigh a few extra deaths. Nails had a great
It's kind of like a
run,
beat 'em up
but
strategy
as
where
mentioned
sometimes just
earlier,
bulldogging
the
through as fast as
community's
possible
attention
to get to the
was
next
elsewhere.
section is more worthwhile.
Without the glitches that Halo 2 Classic had, most runners just viewed Halo 2 Anniversary as a sideshow. Despite some solid recent records from Jervalen and Nails, top runners put most of their efforts into the original game. That's the way it had been for years, and it showed no
Okay.
signs of stopping.
So we were still playing the original
But
game.
then,
Gotcha.
in August 2018, 343 Industries made an announcement that changed everything. Just shy of 4 years after the game's release, 343 modified Halo 2 Anniversary's mechanics. There were a handful of minor changes, but the most relevant one for speedrunners? They added glitches from Halo 2 Classic back into the game.
We have to add the
It's time
glitches
to
back in.
introduce you to Sword Tech.
That's amazing. Oh. Just wave dashing for sickos.
When
Gotcha.
Halo 2 Classic was released in 2004, it had one particularly game-breaking glitch. You lock onto an enemy with a weapon, then switch to the energy sword and cancel the animation of the switch by reloading right as it starts. This creates a 2-frame window where the energy sword turns into a long-range weapon
Weird.
and can lock onto that same faraway enemy. If you lunge in that tiny window, you'll go flying across the map. This can be done throughout the run, and variations can save even more time. You can jump while flying to get more air, and soar past nearby enemies by adding in a jump and action input. Bungie patched sword tech out of Halo 2 in 2005,
That's
and
fair.
when 343 remastered
I assume you
the
could use it
game,
in multiplayer.
They followed suit. But in 2018,
I guess no one knows because I
with
don't know when we play
most of the
PvP.
speedrun community ignoring Halo 2 Anniversary, sword tech was reintroduced. A rare instance of developers adding glitches intentionally.
I love this.
And
That's
it
so
worked.
good. That's so fucking
Speedrunners
good.
began paying attention to Halo 2 Anniversary. Within months, it would surpass the popularity of Halo 2 Classic. But right away, it was clear that the world record would be shattered. Sword tech saves several minutes across the run. You not only gain time by flying through the air, but also reduce your odds of dying by skipping over enemies on the ground. The record
Okay.
wasn't going to remain at 140.
I figured that was gonna be like sloppy. You would still die anyway,
In October
but
2018,
I guess not.
The first world record with sword tech was set. 137.25 by Kryphin. Kryphin did sword flying all over the run. A couple big ones were in Cairo, skipping having to traverse the outside sections.
but yeah, if you skip
There
that
were a
big
few
of areas, I
smaller
suppose
ones in
it
Arbiter
doesn't
and
matter.
Oracle, but the most significant one came in Regret. Instead of having to slowly ride on the first gondola, Kryphin got a bit over halfway through, locked onto a faraway enemy, and took off.
Wow, you could go from that far
There
as
were
well.
a handful of other significant sword flies later,
Jesus.
particularly in Gravemind. But sword tech wasn't the only change made in the patch. 343 made slight modifications to the entire physics engine, making it more in line with Halo 2 Classic. So, one other broken mechanic was inadvertently added back in, butterflying. By getting an enemy in position right above you, you can melee and then cancel to preserve your momentum and travel around through the air. This is used in two major places. In Gravemind, you're supposed to go down the elevator to play the prison section, then go back up and resume the rest of the level. But instead, by luring an enemy over and falling with him on top of you, you can butterfly back upwards by repeatedly melee canceling to activate the elevator that takes you back up.
Wow.
The game thinks the prison section is complete, and you save 3 to 4 minutes by not even having
Holy
to
shit!
go
I
down
love
there.
video games too.
Prison
Oh
Skip
my
was
god.
found by Mr. Monopoly in 2016.
Yo, what's up, 3Gamers? How
but
you
couldn't
doing?
be applied
These
to
Twitches
Halo
are very
2
Bungie.
Anniversary until
I have to
now.
take your word for it.
This
I haven't played a
works.
Bungie game
I did
ever. What's up, cool hair?
Gravemind Prison. This is Gravemind Prison Skip.
Yeah, right.
The
Just
other trick
flap
is in
your
High
arms. Just flap it
Charity,
really hard.
Halo 2's
You're a beautiful butterfly.
Level. The ending portion of High Charity is actually right below where you begin. So if you lure an enemy over and begin butterflying off the edge, you can time your melee so that you have a controlled descent down to the ending. You also have to navigate to the side at times, and it can be quite tricky. But if done properly, you'll skip playing the level and save close to 3 minutes.
Jeez.
The trigger for High Charity Skip was found by a player named Nibre.
They
while
banned
several
you from
others
death.
made the
What did
trick
you
a
do?
reality. The modern setup was found by Monopoly.
How did you do?
With
What?
sword flies, prison skip, and High Charity Skip all
Warframe
added in,
and chilling.
Kryphin had the
That sounds like a
potential
great,
to save
great
over
time.
10 minutes.
I'm under a
But
blanket.
his run was only a
I'm comfy.
6-minute improvement.
Oh.
He died 19 times.
Fuck.
And most sections of the run were slower outside of the new strategies.
I didn't know that was against the rules
It was
either.
an unoptimized time.
I mean, I was gonna say
understandable
unless they were
given that it was
carrying
the
you through
first
the
world
ranks, but
record
are there
after
ranks
the
in that
patch.
game that they should be worried
With
about?
sword tech being possible, the community was more
Weird.
excited about Halo 2 Anniversary than ever before.
I want to discover
had been
cool
found.
strategies like these
Now,
for the game
they
I'm
had to
speedrunning.
optime the
I
record.
want a cool strategy like this. Some
Over the
that's real
following
fucked
few
up.
months, Nails took the time
There
down
are some
to
ranks.
1 hour. And
Oh, there's a
32
battle
minutes.
pass. Gotcha.
Nails had turned into an absolute monster since his last record, and to this day, he's considered to be the greatest Halo speedrunner of all time.
Carried into competitive mode.
He's gotten top times in every main game and has held the record in several. Back in late 2018, he was focused on Halo 2 Anniversary.
That sucks. I know you
and
love the
took
game.
5 minutes off the record, starting with a 135 and then getting a 132.
Are you at least
Nails
appealing?
didn't do much different from Kryphin, but he did die less.
I guess that does make
13
sense.
times
Blue
versus
Jello.
Kryphin's
I'm still
19.
surprised, I guess,
Was
but
that really
does
enough for such
make
a
sense
large
at the
record
same time.
improvement? Well, 5 minutes might seem like a pretty big difference, but that's because of the nature of Halo 2 Legendary. It's an incredibly difficult speedrun to optimize. There's too many places to die, and it's inevitable that things will go wrong. Since deaths cost roughly 30 seconds on average, it's easy to see why there was so much room for time save. Just 5 days
That's not
after
surprising,
Nails' 132,
unfortunately.
another 3 minutes came off the record. A runner named Rocats got the first sub 130 in the game's history.
Rocats.
Rocats got into the game in 2016, but like so many others, he returned once sword flying was patched back in. He grinded for a few months in late 2018, and in January 2019, he got a 129.55 with only 8 deaths. Most of his time save came early, and the only death in the first half was a nearly unavoidable snipe. in the
Damn!
intro.
That was
Bled time
fresh
in
around the
Gravemind
corner.
due to
What the
6
fuck?
deaths, but played Great Journey much more aggressively. He did sword tech faster and stopped to kill fewer enemies. The record was in a good spot, being under 130. But despite the progress, there was still room for improvement. Tricks could be cleaner and combat could be smoother. So, Rocats continued to play. And over the following several months, this is what he did.
I love this section of every Summoning Salt video, or I should say speedrun history, where someone's just like, yeah, at this point, you just have to be cleaner and better at the game. And someone out there decides, yeah, I am fine with grinding that
By
hard.
early 2021, the time was down to 126.34.
Yeah, I remember
A
you
decent
saying
chunk
you
of
hated the
time
snipers.
saved
I
came
didn't
from
realize
the
it was like
Red
shit
boss
like
fight,
that. Like,
where
oh,
he had
one
an
frame around the corner,
extremely
they got
clean
you.
kill in
100%, it's over.
126.39. You have to board him 5 times and reach a damage threshold each time. He can spawn in 8 different locations after each cycle, and if he spawns far away and you get unlucky with other enemy spawns, you can die very easily. But in this run, Rocats had an extremely quick fight, with no deaths and close spawns from the boss. For years, Halo 2 Classic had dwarfed Halo 2 Anniversary in popularity. But how the turntables. Thanks to the patch, Halo 2 Anniversary
God damn it, I
had
love you,
surpassed
Summoning
Halo
Salt.
2 Classic. As expected, competition at the top started to increase. A player named Firebanch became the second runner to cut 130 in early 2021. But Rocats ultimately prevailed, getting a 124 in August 2021 with a faster boss kill in Great Journey. By September, Rocats had held the record for close to 3 years straight and showed no signs of giving it up. But then, the Halo 2 community voted to make an interesting rule change. As mentioned before, Halo 2 starts with a level called the Armory, which is basically a 2.5 minute cutscene. There's no enemies, and time saves are extremely minimal. It's pretty frustrating to have to begin every speedrun attempt with this level.
Shut up,
So,
I'll push you in the
September
elevator. Next step.
2021, the community set up a vote to determine if it could just be skipped, and all speedruns could start on level 2.
That's actually
Pyro.
cool. I like that.
Many old school runners were against removing Armory,
course
and
they were.
remain against it to this day.
Of course they are.
But in the end, the community chose to remove it, and all Halo 2 runs could now start from Cairo. This changed a lot. For one thing, all runs were now 2.5 minutes faster, so the world record was retimed as a 122. But it also changed how runs were done going forward. You could get a good run going much more easily, as you didn't have to replay Armory every time you wanted to start over.
Right, exactly.
Cairo could be better optimized, and ultimately, the entire run could be too. Removing Armory was certainly a controversial decision, but it brought a new wave of popularity to the speedrun.
I would hate it if I had to wait 2 minutes to be able to have another run. That would suck. That's one of the reasons why I picked a game that was like only 15 minutes, like
A couple
at
months
worst,
after the rule change,
because I want to
Cryphon
be able
got
to try
a
again
great
as
run
fast as
going.
possible and not have to waste a bunch of
He hadn't held the
time.
record in over 3 years, but he was going to have a chance at this. He saved a big chunk early in Cairo and never looked back, slowly gaining time over the following levels. The important Swordflies and Regret went well, as did the boss fight. And after a gold split on Sacred Icon, he was nearly 2 minutes ahead.
In this case, yes.
And on pace for a
Actually, in all
123.
cases, Tina's good at video games.
He
I'm bad
entered
at video
quarantine
games.
zone, 5 levels
Tina's
from
cool.
the
I'm
end.
not cool.
Then,
Oh.
a couple untimely
Oh.
deaths and some slow navigating.
it always
meant
happens.
Cryphon's
I hate
lead
that.
nearly entirely vanished. His world record chance was gone, but he still got a nice personal best out of it. But Rocats had better look out. With Armory being removed from timing, other runners were more determined than ever to get the
I admit,
world
I'm a
record.
very big proponent of
In
allow the
particular,
player
there were
to
3
try
of them.
again on a game sooner rather than later.
Cryphon was in second place, and we've seen
Street
how
Fighter
much
6
potential
restarting
he
damn
had.
near instantly.
He'd
Perfect.
been
10 out of 10.
dominating Halo
Great
2
job.
Classic for years, and with
Don't
a
make me watch
better
the character
quarantine
outro if I don't
zone,
want to.
He would have had the Halo 2 anniversary record as well. In third place was a
But
runner
unless it's like
named
some true
Sinister.
potential to skip some time there
He'd been
that's
running the
unique
game
or
for a couple
interesting,
years,
which it sounds like it's not.
slowly lowering himself.
I think that's
into
what the
world
old
record
heads have to
contention.
argue. Does the
And while
beginning
he was
bring
still
anything
5 minutes behind
worthwhile to the
record,
game?
He had the
Is there
potential
skips
to get it with a
before
really
that
strong
section?
run.
Yes, no.
And finally,
So that's the part that
there
really
was
depends.
Zoo. He was originally a Halo 3 runner, but later started focusing on Halo 2 Anniversary with Cryphon as his mentor.
Oh,
He
that's
was
cool.
the farthest from the record, with his main goal being to beat Cryphon and get second place. But Zoo had one advantage over his competitors, thanks to a trick he went for right as the speedrun begins. Tram skip. At the start of Cairo, there's a tram that leaves behind you. It passes by a later section of the level, so if you can just go where the tram's headed, you can skip the first part of Cairo.
Huh.
Problem is, there's an invisible barrier that pushes you back, and it doesn't disappear until after a door closes that you also can't pass through. If you try to approach the barrier, you'll get pushed back through the open door. There's no way to make it through. Well, in 2019, Nails found a way around this, and in 2020, Monopoly improved upon it with an easier method. You start by shooting your teammates until just before they turn and aggro to you. You then push a Marine into the corner of the tram, and as he rides away, you follow him. By spamming melee, he'll become an enemy and you can cling to him as the tram passes through the door.
Wow.
Once the barrier disappears, you're free to move forward through the rest
like all
of the
the
level.
scientists just fucking die.
This saves 45 seconds as you don't have to play the start of Cairo, but it comes with a catch. Your teammates will try to kill you for the remainder of the level.
That's
This
a
isn't
that's
too
a fair catch.
problematic on easy mode, but on legendary, your teammates kill you fast. So, despite being discovered years earlier, it wasn't used in full game runs. Until Zoo came along. He had a lot of runs die early, but he had a 45-second advantage by going for it. So, in short, all 3 of these runners had a chance to get the record. Let the competition begin. Well, in May 2022, Zoo struck first, getting a 124.29. With just one personal best, he had nearly accomplished his goal of beating Cryphon. The run wasn't on record pace for too long, but this was still a remarkable time. Zoo was starting to make a name for himself in Halo 2.
At this point, when I had the 124, I wasn't really looking to get record at the time, my main goal at that point was just to bop Gryphon. The student becomes a teacher type of thing.
When he ended up getting the 124, I think his goal was to just bop me at the time, like you mentioned. I probably told him that he can get whatever time he wants, and the torch is his to take.
With this run,
I like
it
he's been
was
doing
now
interviews
clear.
now that Summoning Salt is
Zoo
doing more
was the
interviews and
odds-on
reaching out to
favorite
people.
get the record. Despite taking a break to play more Halo 3, where he set that legendary world
Oh,
record,
damn.
Zoo quickly came back to Halo 2, and on May 28th, he was able to get on an excellent run. He pulled
I want
further
him
and
to
further
get,
ahead.
wanted to get him. He wanted to
After
get me.
Quarantine Zone, he was minutes ahead.
Love
of
it when
his personal
history's
best,
easy.
but he still had to get through.
What's up,
Gravemind.
Metabot? How you doing?
Like Gravemind is like the main run killer, you know, like everyone just fears Gravemind. I had like a 920 Gravemind, which is pretty good for a full game.
Yeah,
legendary run.
he's finally come kind of full
So after I
circle on
finished that, I
that,
was like,
and now
I was getting nervous.
I feel like the
kinda
moment that
getting
he steps
shaky.
into
This
whatever
run actually
Discord
had a
chat,
shot to get record.
whatever,
When they enter the last level,
and is
it's
like, hey, I want to
exciting.
interview, I want
Like,
to
at least
talk about
as
y'all's
a
games, like
long-time runner
roll
of the
through red
game,
carpets,
like
everyone.
your heartbeat gets way up
everyone,
there
this
with
is a
them,
boost to
'cause
our
you
game.
know
We
just
want
how
this
much
shit to happen
pressure
right
they have
now.
on themselves, and just how much pressure
And
there
then,
is to
yeah, the
perform.
community, yeah, clear an open community as well.
Unfortunately, he
helps out a
couldn't lock it
lot.
down this time.
I kind of wish I had a
He ended
community for
with
my
a
game. Nope, it's just me
122.37.
right now.
Just 17
But you know what? That's
seconds
fine.
behind the
I'm
world
having a fun
record.
time anyway.
You know, I missed record by 17 seconds at the time, but I was really excited to get a PB that close to record. I was pretty happy with it. I was pretty motivated by it to kind of keep going.
So,
Yeah,
Zoo
makes
continued onward.
Yo, what's up, Sana? How
He
you
didn't play
doing?
For a few weeks, thanks to Moist Critical's Deathless Lasso challenge.
Oh,
but
right,
afterwards
that
he got
thing.
back to it.
That fucking thing. I
On
forgot about that.
August 7th, he was on another remarkable pace.
Goes
gaining
good.
time in
I'm
level after level.
I'm under a
After
blanket.
Sacred Icon,
I'm watching
his
cool
lead
videos.
was nearly a full minute.
Everything's
way
great.
ahead of
Everything's
world
great.
record
How you
pace.
doing?
But unfortunately, Quarantine Zone did not go well,
Mm.
and an untimely death in Gravemind was the nail in the coffin.
I mean, as a longtime Halo 2 runner, that's like classic.
And you content of
Halo 2
Ryu.
legendary
Damn, would have
speedrunning.
never have
You will
thought.
lose every
It's all
single
bonus
round,
content,
or
so it
at least
doesn't
the
count.
majority of them to Quarantine Zone.
Yeah,
through
its elevator
Great
actually
Fleet.
returns. It
This was
it
now
has
two
some mashing.
huge record
It doesn't
chances
do
that he
anything for
missed.
you, but you do
He
need to
was
press a
starting
button
to let it slip
fast
away.
in one section.
And right on cue, Kraken and
Has
Sinister
one
started
mashing.
to close in.
And it doesn't
Just 3
do
days
anything better
apart,
or worse. It's
They
just
set
you have
new
one mashing.
personal bests of a low 124 and a
Great
low
fun. See what you're doing.
125.
Oh, is there a?
I
Oh,
saw,
god damn it!
hey, I still have what it takes, I guess, you know? And I might have a shot at it.
I was still like kind of motivated to grind it, but yeah, I was like losing hope a little bit.
Yeah, that fair. That's
A
fair.
couple more weeks passed.
Hey, he has my
with
same mic.
Nothing from Zoo.
Zoo has
But
my same mic.
finally, he
that I
was able to
use.
get on another good run. He started with Tram Skip, then kept it close over the following levels. Oracle and Regret were both solid, and he ended up with a gold split on Sacred Icon.
God, I hate this game.
Things were looking pretty good.
He was getting into Gravemind at a pretty good time, actually. You know, you look at his run, he says, here it comes as soon as the Gravemind load happens.
All right, here it comes. Pray for me.
Gravemind was okay, with 5 deaths, but he followed it up with 2 more really good splits. Through it all, Zoo wound up being ahead going into Great Journey, a level where he had even more time to save.
Ooh.
Seeing how far ahead he was
I'm a
on the
highlight
record
on
actually
it.
entering it and how much time he had to play with.
I look at the.
All I'm thinking in my head right here is, you've done this a million times before, just hold
You
it
know what?
down.
I'm definitely Rip
You
Spider,
have
bro.
time to lose. Do
I'm
not
Rip
full
Spider,
tilt if
bro.
Great Journey trolls you. All you need to do is hang on, and you got this.
It wasn't the best, it wasn't the cleanest, but it was good enough to pull out the record.
Sometimes it's how it
Did I do
is.
it? Oh my god, let's
Sometimes
go.
it's how it is. It doesn't go pretty, but you have to
Barely a
accept it
121
sometimes.
as well.
I got a
More so
record
than
and I
anything,
did
finally
post
getting
it
the record,
because I thought it was
just
ugly.
relieved.
But I'm like, no one's
He had
threatening me
finally
for
broken through the
top
barrier.
record, so I'm not
He
worried.
had finally taken his first record, and the sky's the limit at this point, you know? All he has to do now is go wherever he wants to.
Zoo had the record, but he admitted in the description that he didn't expect to hang on to it for long. Rocats was still around, and Kryphon and Sinister weren't far behind. So, despite having accomplished his goal, he continued to do runs. And to shake things up a bit, he decided to start going for a new, incredibly risky strategy in Regret: the gondola launch.
Damn, that's far.
You start by getting on the first gondola at the start of
I'm
Regret.
super glad that somebody's
While
talking
on
in
it,
interviews,
you
because
can
hearing it
deload
from
the
the
Phantom by
horse's mouth is
repeatedly
so
meleeing.
much more different.
This delays the checkpoint, which in
Oh.
turn deletes the Phantom when it reaches the middle platform. As a byproduct of all this, a timer starts on the second gondola, and when it runs out, it'll travel back to the start. Once you get to the middle platform, you push the button and finish killing the enemies. This acts as a trigger to send the second gondola forward. So the second gondola now has two commands, one to send it back and one to send it forward. And if these
The
commands
butterfly
overlap
tactic is
within
so
a
good,
roughly
Sana.
1 second window, the game doesn't know what to do. So it deloads the gondola entirely. And the strange result of this, if
Fuck
you're
it.
standing on the gondola,
I won't make any decisions.
you'll get launched through the air.
Wow.
Nails figured out how to do this back in 2018, but for years it was considered too risky to do in legendary runs. You save a good 30 to 40 seconds by not having to wait to do the sword fly, but missing it costs nearly 2 minutes. Risky as it was, Zoo decided it was time to try implementing it in his runs. It would undoubtedly cause more runs to die at Regret, but the 40-second time save was too good to pass up. It could lead to some crazy paces. Well, on September 26th, Zoo got on a run with the gondola launch. It pushed him over a minute ahead of the world record. This was a fantastic opportunity, but it got even more serious when he got a gold split on Gravemind, the fastest he had ever done it in a run.
Jeez.
With just 3 levels to go,
I'd be so
he
nervous.
was 2 minutes ahead of the record.
It's me.
This
Rip
was
Spider
a
Bro.
chance for a sub 120, a time that seemed unthinkable to Zoo just weeks ago. All he needed was to get through 3 more levels.
Ugh.
He just had to close it out.
That thought makes me want to vomit.
Well, here's how it went. In High Charity, he tried to lure the Flood over so he could do High Charity skip, but failed and had to revert. He succeeded on the second try, but accidentally pushed him off the ledge.
No.
These time losses hurt, yet he still retained a minute lead. But Great Journey was even worse. He died 3 times, including twice while driving the Spectre. He still finished the run off as a world record, but it was nowhere near what it could have been. This was starting to become a habit for Zoo. He was getting crazy paces late into runs.
Zoo, you, me
and
both.
things went wrong in the final couple levels.
I
to
always
derail
joke at
it.
the final stage.
But this
I
run
understand.
did make one thing clear. Sub 120 was now the ultimate goal for Halo 2.
Because the risk reward is too
Zoo
great,
had
and then
been
the
on
runs
pace
like
for it.
start getting optimized. Like,
Now,
well, we just have
he
to do
just
it now.
needed a
We
clean
don't know what else to
ending.
do. We have to do
Well,
something even more
a few
crazy.
weeks later, he got on a run that fell behind in the middle levels. He had to revert to the last checkpoint 5 times in Regret.
And the community thought it was too
despite
difficult
getting
doing
the
real-time
gondola
runs.
launch.
Top run
He
competing
also had a
starts
slower
doing the
ending to
tech.
Sacred Icon, and couldn't match the gold split in Gravemind of his last run.
That's the realest shit.
Zoo was running against balanced splits that he had made, but in reality, he was about 45 seconds behind the record going into High Charity. But he knew he could save that time in the final 2 levels. And despite dying
True,
once
right.
in High Charity, he managed to save over a minute in the end to get the record. The final time was 1:20.56. A solid record, but now it had the opposite problem. A weak middle game with a really strong ending. In order to get the sub 120,
It should be nice to have
the
both.
run had to be
Seems to be
great
impossible.
from start
Don't know
to
why.
finish. But Zoo wasn't discouraged. He pressed onward, more determined than ever to get the sub 120. And the very next day after this 1:20.56, this happened.
Also, I'm like always shocked like how
I was
recent these
feeling
are.
very good about it from the very start because I got my Cairo was a 440, and that was individual level record for
Ooh.
Cairo. So right
That's
off the bat, I
great.
was like motivated to keep
That
going.
gold.
Got a decent regret this time. Got the time save, or a lot of the time save I needed for that mission.
When he built up this big time pool into Gravemind, you're kind of like, you don't want to set your expectations too high, but then he got a really good Gravemind. I think it was like a 905. That's just insane. So he's suddenly on this incredibly sick pace, and you're just hoping that it survives.
At that point, I was getting nervous again. I was letting the nerves starting to get to me.
12 levels into the run, Zoo had amassed a 1 minute and 23 second lead.
Oh my god.
Just Great Journey stood between him and a 119. But there was still so much that could go wrong.
At this point, when he entered Great Journey that far ahead, I was super nervous for him. He can either get his goal, he can be happy, or it's going to be the most heartbreaking run of his life. Having done some of those runs myself, I know it's not over until the final cutscene plays on Great Journey, and unfortunately, that's kind of how this run played out. Your heart sinks, and it's just tragic to watch.
Despite the deaths, the run still finished as a world
Oh,
record.
girl, I'm jumping on another guy
Zoo
going
had
wrong.
missed the sub 120 by just 14 seconds.
Those are so sad. Thankfully, it's never
Get it
happened on
already.
like
Can I stop
an actual run.
choking the last mission and just clutch it out?
I'm very lucky it's
The
never
good
happened on like an
news was
actual
that
like
Zoo now
record
had
run.
50 seconds
But many
to
other
save
things
in
go
the
wrong.
final
Don't get me wrong. A lot
So
of other
once
things go
again,
wrong instead.
If he could
It's
just
still
get
funny.
there on a reasonable pace, he could save a bunch of time and get the record.
Yeah, this is actually very long after those fast few runs, so you know he's at least keeping a very consistent pace.
Like having a 58-25 split out of QZ, Quarantine Zone, like people consider like a sub 1 hour out of QZ to be very good. I remember having like a 58-25, like this run's pretty nuts right now. This one could be it. It could be the one.
As long as he can stay close to his PB, he knows he's got a ton of time to save in Great Journey, almost a minute in fact. And this run was shaping up just for that.
I was 10 seconds behind going into Great Journey, but I had a minute of time save. There's so much time to save. This run should definitely be it. On top of that, I was streaming, so I was like excited to get the sub 120 in front of everyone watching.
Ironically, when you're over focused on something, sometimes streaming does help to not make you overextend your focus. It's a little bit ironic, right? Because once you get so used to doing something over and over, sometimes you just need that, like, you don't fall into doing muscle
In
memory
the final
shit.
boss, there's some reinforcement waves that happen when you're killing the final boss based on when he gets to a certain health threshold. Now, normally, they don't really matter and you can get the final boss dead with the Johnson glitch. So once you kill the final boss, there is about 10 seconds before the level actually ends. And during that time, all the enemies and all your teammates, like, they're still active. They're still fighting out there. And if you're caught in the crossfire, you can easily die and just revert back to the very start of the fight.
Oh, what?
So by the time I finally killed him, there was a brute right behind me. He punches me. I start freaking out. Like I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to save it. So I kind of just did a random input and then I lost it there.
Bro, no way! No way!
Yeah, I'd be pissed.
I
I'd be
there were so
fucking
many
livid.
emotions. Like I was
I'd be so
angry,
fucking livid.
annoyed.
Mega
I was
Man 1
embarrassed
problem.
because this just happened on stream. This run was it. Tartarus was dead. All I had to do was wait 10 seconds and then the run was finished.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah,
to
I
watch
would have.
that happen,
I'm not gonna lie,
especially on
stream
a
or
run
not,
so
I would have
fast.
slammed my
It
desk.
took a lot of me
I
trying
would
to,
have.
like,
I would have been
really
pissed.
reassure
That
him, try to
fucking
convince him, like,
sucks.
hey, you've done this once, you can do it again. You're in a league of your own. You are so far ahead of everyone else, and the paces you're getting are so consistently fast that this is going to come with time.
Zoo's motivation hadn't dried up. He knew the sub 120 was within reach. He kept pushing onward through the month of November. And on November 7th, he'd have his next good chance.
It started off really
Oh,
good.
less than a
Like,
week
even though
away.
it started off with some time loss.
That's
The
good.
448 Cairo was still like insane. The missions after that went pretty standard. So I ended up being ahead by quite a bit. And then Regret came. Regret, everything went my way basically. Then I finished QZ, ended up getting a QZ. A 57-53 split is, I remember also being hyped with that. Like, that's insanely fast for Halo 2 Legendary.
When I saw those splits,
Let me just give
a
you
run that
a
was
punch to
this
the back of the
fast
head.
and still gaining with time to save
An
on Great Journey,
EXDP
I
cross
was
up.
blown away. This was shaping up to be one of the best Halo 2 speedruns of all time.
I do High Charity Skip. I remember specifically I practiced High Charity Skip a ton before this run, so I ended up getting a gold split.
Everything was aligning. Zoo had only died 7 times, none of which were particularly costly. It all amounted to a 24-second lead going into Great Journey, where he could save another huge chunk of time. The pressure was on.
My mindset with this run, like, as if I'm ahead at all going into Great Journey, then like I have this in the bag. I should have this in the bag.
When he got to Great Journey, I'm without a doubt certain that he was incredibly nervous.
As I progressed, everything seemed to go my way completely. Okay, so the end fight, the Johnsons were like in some sort of conga line. The Johnson behind the first one wouldn't shoot at Tartarus because it would mean, he was shooting his own teammate. So he just didn't shoot at all.
Wow.
So that kind of prolonged the fight. Like, it was taking a while for Tartarus to die. So that gave the brute reinforcements, giving the brute reinforcements time to get on the platform and kill me. But that didn't happen.
God damn, almost 118
It's
at that
just-
point.
It's
Jeez.
so good. Like, there's, mistakes here and there, but Halo 2 Legendary, you don't get a run that's going to be perfect. This had so few deaths, so few mistakes, so little trolls by RNG, that the time is just incredible.
I felt this was like one of the only times where I felt happy with the PB, like I felt satisfied, like this is actually a good run. So I was happy, like happy for the first time with the PB with the run. It was such a good run. I finally considered a run to be good.
To this day, Zoo's 119 remains on top of the leaderboard. There's been a recent push to break the record, thanks to a $3,000 bounty placed by Eki.
Oh, wow.
In the first few months of 2023, Kryphin, Sinister, and Nails have all improved their times. But Zoo's world record still stands above them. 5 years ago, world record runs used to not be saved. The game was an afterthought compared to Halo 2 Classic. Now, Halo 2 Anniversary has a thriving community, with a world record that reflects that. And as solid as it is, there's no doubt that competition will drive it far lower in the years to come. This has been the history of Halo 2 world records. Thanks for watching.
God damn, speedrunning is so cool.
Please don't forget to subscribe if you enjoyed.
Speedrunning is
since that
so
really helps
cool
me
and
out.
so fun.
Thank you.
And it's not for everyone, I completely understand. There's a reason why I didn't get in speedrunning for a long time. That's because I needed a game that, fit all the realms between... Sure, yeah, go for it. I don't care. Sure, go ahead. Play the full Katamari Damacy OST, YouTube. That's funny. But yeah, I mean, Speedrun's not for everyone, and the reason it took me so long to get into any speedrunning whatsoever after, you know, years of being pushed into it was because I wanted a game that was relatively short, could be restarted very quickly, and had good music. I needed a combination of all these things, and to be able to find a game like that, that was it. Just I had to luck into it eventually, and yeah, oh, speedrun's cool. Speedrun the OST, me mashing on the right key to get through it with as many frames as possible. Thank you for supporting electronic sports. That's the kind of cool thing about like games like Halo being run, because you know the teams who are building the game and teams around it are like, Halo's still a cool esports game. If we get more people playing the game and we can bring more entertainment to the esports space, we're gonna fucking do it. DreamHack is bringing in more, you know, fighting games because we're getting more people into the esports space, and the FGC's not used to having money anyway. So any money we toss their way is like a huge pot for everything they're not used to. Damn, you're kind of loud. All right, there we go. Game you could just jump into a void at a moment's notice, exactly. And also no extremely high level, you know, one frame, gotta make this jump, otherwise you lose 200 minutes. Some people say they're still losing minutes to this day type of stuff either. It needs to be, you know, it can be tight timing, but it, you know, I don't like this like whole 1-2 frame timing stuff, even though my game might have it and I just don't realize it anymore. I don't know, it's just, yeah, it's its own thing. But yeah, heck yeah. Once again, another banger from Summoning Salt himself. It's been real good. If you already get into speedrunning, what game would you speedrun? And it doesn't have to be something like, oh, I don't want to speedrun it because it's super hard. But like, if you were to get into speedrunning, like, if there were ever a game that you have on your mind that you would think, if there was one, I would speedrun this and or already speedrun, what would that be? I may or may not be trying to buy time. Wow. Alright, let me roll out here. You had a world record for G-Savior? I don't even know what G-Savior is. What the hell? G-Savior. Okay, well, I assume it's a Gundam game. It probably anime first. Wow, okay. So I've never even seen this before. But now it's second place. Oh no! There's nothing you can do, Zappa. It's all over. You're dead. No, you can. If you ever got interested in doing it, you'd probably just do it again. You'd probably speedrun the Mega Man, probably X6. X6 would make sense, actually. And by make sense, I mean, damn, that seems like the perfect line between people will nod and say, you're great at it, and I'm not going to touch your record. Klonoa. Oh, I never even thought about Klonoa being a speedrun game, actually, because I've barely seen Klonoa ever in my life. But damn, Klonoa would be a good one. I should just play Klonoa, though. We talked about it last time we were hanging out, and I'm just like, I have not touched that game, but damn, it has caught my interest for, like, years since I first saw it on, like, the PS1, I think it was. So you used to speedrun a few games. For my next one, I'm going to try Euromancer, whatever it's called. I don't know. It's just a quality time routing it first. Gyromancer. Oh, right, that one. Right. The one that kind of looks like Puzzle Quest. Okay, I had to remind myself. I'm like, I know you've brought it up before, but I wasn't sure. Warship Gunner 2, but the nature of the run would be done given the game. Oh, the game itself is a fast game, is what you're saying, Cuttlefish Man? There's a running sword and black stone, then elevator actions. So bigger sticks a sword and black stone, then elevator action. Yeah, probably. Oh, it'd be stupid given the game. Oh, gotcha. 6, okay. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. That would be fun. I think Mario Kart would be a fun game to speed run. Because I feel like there's just a lot of ways to just like kind of fuck around and find out in that game. But there's a point that'd be unfun if I had to get there. But Final Fantasy 6 I think would vibe with you. But the problem with that is it's like, do you have 4 to 6 hours to set aside so you can speedrun this game? Who knows? The Wahoo game! I said Wahoo and I was trying to mimic Klonoa and it just came out as Toad. I'm so sorry. And it was Sonic Generations. Ooh, okay, that's a good choice, I think. Or would be a good choice. Not that you're going to do it. Visual right of the original better. The 2/3D visuals is appealing. Oh, okay, gotcha. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. The switch point mechanics that make it extremely frustrating to speedrun, but it's still be interesting to try. Right. And you know, the thing about speedrunning that you have to consider is you don't exactly have to be great at it or the best at it or even going to be the best at it. Maybe just figure out how to do the speedrun and you can just nod at the end of the day and say, that's all I wanted to know. Can I do it? And beat this game under like, I don't know how long Klonoa it is. So I would say like, 45 minutes. Yes. Okay, great. I did it. I call it a day. I move on. And then maybe if the itch scratches you a little bit later, you return back to it and do some more. Not that the level geometry didn't load properly. Generations, what are you doing? That's hilarious. And also, that has to be super satisfying to say, I know I'm speedrunning now because the level ain't loading anymore. I'm way ahead of the game now. Literally, I'm ahead of the game. Oh, it's like a 10-hour run. Oh, oofa-doofa. Was based off of PS2 series Waves of Steel. I just do not know any of these games. Waves of Steel. Or... Oh, no. This is the game that Jimpu was playing. Okay, I remember now. That was the game that Jimpu was playing for a little while. I don't know if she ever finished it, but... they were playing it for a while. I do remember that now. I have seen that before. Grinding for research, parts unlocks, development, so on and so forth, and then finding the right ratio would be a nightmare. Yeah, it'd be more of a numbers game rather than an action game at that point, I figure, would be the problem. I mean, which, has value for people. I mean, a lot of JRPG runs are basically that, of how to balance it all, but, it's not for everyone. That's kind of the reason why I wouldn't want to run an RPG. I mean, also, I have its sheer length. It would also be like, I don't want to figure out how to balance money with literally everything else that can happen in the game. That sucks. If I had to buy something in my game, if there's an economy in my game, I don't want it. I don't want to run it anymore. But 6 and Mario Kart, some of the few games I've watched how-to videos on speedrunning them. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I've seen 6 so many times because of Tina. I have not watched a Mario Kart how-to run, but I like watching speedruns of the game. And I think I would enjoy a speed run of it because I was really into Mario Kart Wii, and so I'd be really into that one if there was one. It was Sonic 06 speed runs. You're already technically speed running though. The La Mulana randomizer. You're technically speed running it. Like technically, he's doing a lot of heavy lifting here, but you're technically speed running that, so it's fine. I'm ahead of the game. Wait, let me reload the level real quick. I can't see shit. I gotta go back. We gotta go back, Sonic. Because I'm looking for tricks to help me in a tournament at a work event. My coworkers are gonna get fucked. I respect that 120%, Empress. How do I make sure that I win this shit? A Seaman SR or a speedrunner look like? Yeah, I have seen one, I believe. Or maybe it was a task, I should say. I think I watched a task or something like that around it. And I was just kind of nodding and said, I should probably know what the game does first next time before I watch one of these. I have no idea. I guess, I'd say so. You're gunning for a better time every time. Albeit every time you get to the teardrop, and section where you can teardrop, you always say into the chat, can someone teach me how to teardrop if someone knows? It's like, Dubs, just learn how to teardrop on your own time. If you do that, you're going to have so much insanely consistent runs, it sounds like. It's really funny to me every time you get there. I'm about to learn it and to teach you. I'm not gonna do it. You're getting serious. Pac-Man. Oh, Championship Edition. Lost score text, but never did speedruns. Yeah, that'd be a completely different game, right? I mean, let's score leads into an in-game economy. I have both games. I've never played them, so I don't know what it looks like. I heard it plays like a normal Pac-Man, though, so I would be interested to see how you could, like, manipulate the ghost. So that'd be very interesting. Starflight 2. Also, what's up, Jokey? How you doing? Starflight 2 is the one I like to try. Considering the game format surrounding 19-minute for Starflight 1 makes me wonder if some sort of knowing the right places to go and shenanigans could work for that. I mean, I would say yes. I'm not trying to be pedantic. I'm trying to figure out how to word this here. But any sort of knowing the right places to go shenanigans will work in general really well. If not for like even the direct run, a general knowledge of like how the game works and where it wants you to go even can sometimes help save you if something goes wrong with the actual run as well. I feel that way with elevator action a lot personally, because it's just like, oh, I died in an unexpected area and it brought me back to here. Okay, I understand that now. Here's what I need to do to try to save these elevator cycles going forward. Or here's where I can die because I know this elevator's gonna pop up because you're not supposed to go there quite yet. So on and so forth. Playing perfect and pixel perfect movement and requires actual setups. Also, I learned badly from tutorials. I don't think that changes my feelings towards the subject. I find it funny every time. And I just want to be like, Dubs, just take some time. I would love to see your runs get hella more consistent through, or I guess consistently faster, because you actually learn how to do the trick. I'm rooting for you, while also finding it funny that every time there's a section in the run where Dub says, "Hey, does anyone know the teardrop?" And it makes me laugh every single time. Maybe that's the real consistency that matters. The laughter that I found along the way. Yeah, just grab Author Blues to teach you. I bet Author would be like jazzed as hell to teach you. Listen, the speedrun is intense. Oh wow, really? I figured since it was a Pac-Man thing, you wouldn't do a whole lot more, but oh wow. I might watch the speedrun before I actually, watch the normal game or play the normal game. But there's an adventure mode where the relevant levels have various completion requirements. Okay. Some levels are just like eat 6 fruit, do a 5-minute score attack, and get at least blank points. Okay, gotcha. So like the eat 6 fruit, you can really speed up. But like the 5-minute score attack and get X points, it's still going to be 5 minutes no matter what, I figure then. It's not, or it doesn't end when you get the score itself. What happens when I get the grapple card because it's the easiest setup to range out? Oh, okay. So you could also maybe set it up for the situation of, at least if I have grapple claw, then, there's a 1 in 50 chance that I can do a raindrop and up my time by, a few minutes. And that'd be a good thing. Or I guess lower my time a few minutes. That makes sense. Probably think it'd be fun casual game for anyone to jump into. I saw it as an opportunity to research and practice. Only one coworker ended up being a threat. Everyone else was put into the dumpster. Empress of Myth flexing. She's just out there flexing on her coworkers. Like, let's fucking go. You didn't know that I'm known as the Empress on the internet. The Empress of Mario Kart? Yeah, close enough. That's the one. They call me that. It's always at least 5 minutes, but some of the requirements are nasty. So if you mess up, you could lose up to 5 minutes. Oh, yeah. So it's like not like if you're good enough in the game, that 5 minutes will never be a problem. It's you're gonna be trying to struggle for that 5 minutes, and if you fuck it up, that's 5 minutes gone. Runs over. Try it again. So that makes a lot of sense. What are we watching today? Well, we watch Summoning Salt's new video on Halo 2 history of speedruns. Now we're just talking about speedruns. Because I'm just killing some time for a bit here. What's up, Sin? How you doing? You should watch the video because Summoning Salt always does great videos. And I love them. They're great. But you are too late. You are very too late. Yeah, I'm on a great Sunday. I'm under a blanket. I got to watch a video from a video maker that I greatly enjoy, and I got to do it with cool, fine folks here on twitch.tv.com. It's been great. And now Katamari Damacy is playing on its own volition as well. It's a great time. I can't argue that. We're living life out here. Hopefully you're having a great Sunday as well, though. I closed my window there. There we go. Are you getting up into anything sick nasty today? Or, I guess, just fun in general? The new Munchie video, music video on Greed Sever. No, I have not, actually. What's that funny guy up to? Munchie Jr., what are you up to today? Oh my god. Alright. Oh wait, that's not gonna work, is it? I needed to actually link the tweet first and foremost. Let's try it again. There we go. Alright, I'm gonna check this out. Hopefully this is working. Hopefully you all see that. Yeah, there it is. Sweet. Oh god. Oh, it's on YouTube. Well, it's too late now with the Twitch. That stupid Slayer card. God damn it. Gonna shoot me Outlast trials today? Oh shit. Good luck. Let me start over that case. My bad. I didn't realize we were gonna be going to sub zone. I'm ready. Oh my god, that input was insane. It does beat those, you're right. Clash into Greed Sever. You're right. God damn it. Oh my fucking god. There's something I'm gonna reference a little bit later. I caught a reference to that. It was very, very deep, and I'm surprised that he did that. Yeah, that doesn't fucking beat. This such a sever. Oops. Oh my god. Yes! Awesome. Alright, I had to go back for a half a second here if I can find that again. I don't remember what part it was at. I think it was a little bit earlier. The fucking front-facing guy. I think it was like right before here. This one here actually uses the colors of a player, Kizzer Crate, who has for a long time used this the picture of the actual real life guy who's like posing to say I will fight every Trump supporter and is a Kai player. So they this is like the deepest fucking pull of all fucking time to turn this image out like this. And I'm sure somewhere out there Kizzer is using this image. It's so good. It's so goddamn good. Thank you for letting me know about that. Holy shit, I would have missed it 100% since I'm not exactly on Twitter all that much anymore. I'm glad that you're adjacent enough to that a fair amount of it does make sense. And at the very least, it's a jammer of a song that's very silly and hyperactive, just like Munchie does in this this workaday world. I'm gonna retweet it, but on my other screen, you all can't see it. Non-threatening Kai looking straight at you right now, ready to throw fists. It's so goddamn good. All right, I'm satisfied. I'm satisfied with life now. I don't need anything to do anything else today. I go back to bed, call it a day. The day's done. The day is done. But in real talk here. Thank you all for hanging out. I do greatly appreciate it. It's been a great time getting to watch some cool videos about video games with y'all. And I hope that hopefully you all have a great Sunday as well. Oh, if you want to chill for a little bit longer, let's see who's doing some gaming today. Who's doing some gaming today here? Everyone's playing Street Fighter 6. I'm actually going to send you over to Red May Susie, so hopefully you can watch the game Sports Story break in front of your face. Hopefully something ridiculous happens again. Because unfortunately that game has a lot of issues. But it tries very hard to be an earnest video game of all time, so I will share it with you all and laugh about things along the way. But that said, thank you all for hanging out. Greatly appreciated. There is one more stream before I head off for Combo Breaker, which will be tomorrow. So I don't know what I'm going to stream. Maybe just Mega Man 3. Maybe just turn my brain off and all that sort of stuff. But hopefully I get to catch you all tomorrow before I go to Combo Breaker. If you want to see what my commentary schedule is for Combo Breaker, you can check the schedule tab below the video here and check that all out. It should be automatically converted to your time zone and everything like that. So it should be easy to figure out when I'm going to be doing some commentary over there. But otherwise, if I don't catch you on Monday, then I will catch you the following week's Thursday at the latest, I guess is the best I'm trying to say there. But y'all take care of yourselves. Have a good one. Stay cute as always. It's a great time as always, Sana. I'm glad that you all came through and talked about cool speed running stuff. And until next time, peace. All right, for anyone who's still around, let me tell you a secret. There's going to be some news coming this week about speedrunning, by the way. Don't tell anyone I said that. Bye.